This video is all about WebMixer version 2. We've been using it for quite a few weeks now, and it's been very stable for us. And so I thought, why not just create this quick video to show you what it can do and how it's different from version 1. Basically, the first thing that is different is the connection of WebMixer. If I look here on the desk here, it's all connected using a Digico pad connection, which is just like the iPad connection, instead of the other OSC. So there's nothing else you sort of have to install on the desk. And what happens is WebMixer now behaves as if it's an iPad. And that adds some extra functionality and basically allows you to connect iPads using the Digico app, and it just communicates with those as well as WebMixer devices. The cool thing is you're not actually limited to one iPad, which the desk or Digico restrict. This allows you to connect as many iPads as you want, and they all communicate and update as necessary. So as an example, I'm updating this channel here, and you can see it's updating on the iPad. And again, vice versa, if I want to go back, you can see it's updating as well. So that's this. It's basically the setup, but version 2 also has an administration area. And so I'll get that out of the way. This is sort of where you would configure and set it all up. Basically, on the mixing desk tab, you'd set up the IP and the port settings for the mixing desk. And then your OSC settings is where you'd set the ports for sending the messages around. Then you've got the ability to customize your auxiliaries. So you can change the auxiliary channel labels, change the colors, set icons for them, which will show up in on the web browser itself. And then channels, you can do section titles, so you can group your channels together to make it easier to find certain things. You can turn the channels on or off, change their label, which again, if I change that, it reflects it onto the desk. You can set icons, which we've got a couple of icons here, and change the sorting as well. What I might do is I'll show you what that would look like on a device. So we've got here what would show up first when someone first connects to WebMixer. They get to choose the auxiliary they want to mix. So I'm going to go with drums here, and we've got all the channels that are available in their groups there. So they can just change that fader, and it goes up louder or quieter in their mix. And you'll see as I'm doing that, you can see it's updating all the other devices that are connected. You can also adjust panning if it's an auxiliary mix, and that, if I come down here, you can see that's adjusting the panning for that channel as well. So that's the basics of what WebMixer can do, but there are a couple of other things that it can also do, and that's via these additional devices. So this is where you add your additional iPads. But I've actually got a few other connections here. One's Ableton and a Stream Deck, which allows us to send messages between those devices. And what we can do, well, what I've done with that is I've written a couple of plugins here that modify the messages or do certain things when it receives the messages. So as an example, I have on my desk, on this desk here, we've got some channels that are double patched, but I want their labels to be the same. So whenever I change the name of a label for one of the vocalists, I want it to also update and reflect a completely different channel. So what it's actually doing is it's sending a message to OSCWebMixer. It's then seeing what that message is and then broadcasting a new message to rename the other channels. So that's just one example, but one of the other ones is we have Ableton. You might send a key change OSC message to WebMixer. This plugin will read that, and they're fairly straightforward to write. They're just a text file. It will read the message that it comes in, and if it's a note change event, it then sends off the key to change to a Stream Deck and triggers a button on the Stream Deck, which will then trigger the auto-tune changing of the key. So that's just a couple of things that you can do. I'm sure there's plenty of other ideas that you guys might have. Please feel free to reach out if you have any questions or any comments. I'd love to hear from you. Thanks a lot.